ladies and gentlemen, Toons and Toonettes. Allow me to be the first to formally welcome you to this year's ToonFest at OMG Con 2016. Now, the Toontown Rewritten team is backstage preparing for our panel, and I know you're eager to get them here. Before we bring them on, there are a few little tidbits to go over. First, you'll be excited to know that our panelists have included a Q&A portion at the end of their spiel. For this reason, please reserve your questions and comments for the end, where you'll be able to step up to the microphone and say it directly to the team. If you're worried about forgetting your question, feel free to use your complimentary pen to write a reminder on your neighbor's arm. I'm certain they won't mind. Second, please keep flash photography to a minimum to avoid distractions. Our panels will be available for watching on the Toontown blog after the event is over. So have no worry that you can relive these rather ridiculous memories for years to come. And finally, although we've asked you to save questions for the end, we want you to be far from silent. Feel free to ooh, ah, and applaud when necessary. Believe me, there is plenty to get excited for. Now, without further ado, please put your gloves together for our first panelist and your MC throughout the event, Joey Zielkowski.
Is that better? All right, before I bring our other panelists out, let me say welcome to ToonFest. You made it. We have a lot of exciting things in store for you here. But as some of you know who came last year, we do have to do a security check before we come in. There are no cogs allowed in this building. So when I say, are you Toon Enough, be as loud as possible so you can hear us all the way out in the lobby. So are you ready? Are you Toon Enough? Yeah! Let's do that one more time, louder. Are you Toon Enough? Yeah! Awesome. All right, so I'm going to bring out our panelists here. The first one is our art director, Roxana, also known as Boo Boo. Come on out, Roxana. Next up, we have the director of dinner, as we call him, because he seems to always be eating whenever the servers are going haywire. Jeremy Coulter, also known as Fat McStink. Now we have a new addition to our panel this year. Aidan is known as Hawkheart in the game. He's one of our developers. Come on up, Aidan. Now, right here. Next up, we have Sam, the reason that we're all here today. He is the brains behind TTR. Come on up, Sam. Also known as Shockley. And now finally, last but not least, we have Jacob Eisman, the voice of Clarabelle and our event coordinator here. Come on up, Jacob. Also known as Weird Wacko. All right, let's have one more round of applause for our panelists here. Now, we're going to start off our panel with the video that we debuted last year, just because we want to, some of you may not know about Toontown. Is there anyone who is here, hasn't heard about Toontown before, or hasn't played it before? I see a few hands in the back. So you guys are in for a treat, hopefully. Now, we're sorry for the delay getting you guys in the building, but our videos didn't want to play on here. But we've got them working.
Ever wonder what it'd be like to live life as a toon? You could catch some fish, play some games, or run some errands. But here in Toontown, we do things a little bit differently.
we showed you that video today, because as of just this week, that video has hit 100,000 views on YouTube, only a year after it's been uploaded. That's 100,000 people who have seen our project, not even ran by Disney. Now, some of you may remember these slides from last year, but again, we want to let people know what Toontown is before we get started with all the exciting things we have in store. So one of the things is Toontown was a pretty big deal back in the day. I don't know if you guys realize, but it was the first family-friendly MMO, self-proclaimed, but nonetheless, it won 14 of the 18 awards that it was given, or nominated for. But of course, as a lot of us know, in 2013, Disney decided that Toontown wasn't being quite as profitable. They wanted to change their system a little bit, move on to new things, and they decided to shut the game down. And we decided that we didn't want that to happen. And here we are with Toontown Rewritten. So again, for those who don't really know about Toontown, it takes place in a Disney-inspired cartoon world. You play as an animal, you get to customize it, you get to name it, and it's all about fun, playing teamwork with each other. It sounds childish, and it is a children's game, but many of us are not children, so take our word for it that it's fun for all ages. Yeah, children of all ages. But of course, in Toontown, it's not all fun and games. The cogs, which are business robots, dressed up in suits and everything, are trying to turn off the Toon buildings into nasty cog buildings. They use things like red tape and pink slips to try and put an end to the Toon's fun while we throw pies and seltzer and all that at them. But the best part of our game, Toontown Rewritten, is that it's free. Can I hear a round of applause for that? Disney used to have people pay $10 a month for the game, which is understandable because it does cost a lot to maintain it. But we as Toontown Rewritten volunteer our own time and money and our free time, I guess, to be here and keep Toontown running for everyone. We don't accept any form of donations or any payment whatsoever for the project. And we hope to keep it that way. But now enough of all that stuff. I know that you guys want to see some new things. I promise we haven't just completely recycled our PowerPoint from last year. So I'm going to show you our new gameplay advertisement, never seen by anyone before. It's debuting right here at ToonFest. One second. Hey there, Mr. Burton. How are you? Well, see ya.
Welcome to the outrageous cartoon world of Toontown, where fun has no limits. Join the battle against business and play for free at toontownrewritten.com. Toontown Rewritten. Are you Toon Enough?
Do you guys like it? Not quite what we were expecting, was it? Yeah. Does anyone know what that's based off of? I see a few hands here. Disney used to have this advertisement called It's Different in Our Town. There was a school teacher calling names, and this guy was scrambling around in his closet. He was late for school. He pops out a portable hole, throws it on the ground, and appears in class right when the teacher calls his name. And so we are continuing that line of advertisements, just like we try and continue everything that Disney did with Toontown. And we were really excited. Jacob Eisman helped me with that video here, and as well as my friends down here. Sammy did some audio, and Austin, who wasn't able to make it. But thank you to everyone who helped with that. And now that you know all about it, welcome to Toontown. For 2 years, we've kept Toontown Rewritten open to the public. That's not even counting our alpha stage, which has been almost 3 years. We have over 1,477,074 tunes created since the beginning of beta. Think about that. There are 1.5 million tunes running around in our little virtual universe. There are at least 10 cogs defeated since the invasion. I'd like to thank Emery for that quote. And since last year, when we were at ToonFest, there have been 432,376 new accounts created. Again, think about that. But the biggest announcement of all is that Toontown Rewritten has almost reached 1 million registered accounts. Again, there is a soon to be up there. It's still 900 something thousand. 950,000, but we are almost to 1 million accounts. And now we're going to move on to some of the content that we want to talk about. Roxana, if you want to stand up with me here, we're going to talk about the development of ToonFest. Not this ToonFest, but the in-game event that we have every year. We want to share kind of what it takes to do this kind of stuff on the Toontown Rewritten team. So Roxana, do you want to start us off with anything?
So, the idea with ToonFest started out as we wanted a giant area for our Toons to come and celebrate the anniversary of Toontown.
Toontown Rewritten, that is.
Yeah, Toontown Rewritten. And we wanted to make activities and prizes to start with. So, a couple of our modelers had gotten together and modeled this entire area with trees, and it took a very long time to make, but they committed and we managed to get that area finished in time.
So to talk about how ToonFest, the idea of it first started, believe it or not, the first version of ToonFest was completely created in 1 month, all the way from the idea to the concept to the modeling, and it all launched in only a month's time, which is a pretty incredible feat for a team as small as ours. And it really, the first ToonFest marked Toontown Rewritten opening to the public for everyone. And I think that was Sam's idea. He told us, like, hey, Toontown Rewritten is going to be 1 year old pretty soon. And this is around August. And I said, well, why don't we try and open up to the public and make this new area and do all of these things that my team very much hated me for at the time. But it turned out awesome, and now we've brought it back every year, and I think you guys have a lot of fun playing the mini games that we're continuing to expand. So here are a few concepts of how we decide on what the ToonFest area is going to look like. We knew it should be in Acorn Acres because we had that unused tunnel, if you remember from Toontown Online. And Roxana, do you want to talk about these concepts at all?
Yeah, so we decided it should be on the top of a mountaintop. So that the Toons go up into the wilderness and they took all the trees and carefully took them out of the ground and made sure that they planted them elsewhere. So Toons are very, thoughtful about that. And they made way for the event, and we decided, let's go with some concepts here about a mountain. And we tried a bunch of different hills, a bunch of different tunnels that we could go with, and then we ended up with what we had in game.
So the original version of ToonFest was supposed to take place on top of the mountain, the one that you see right next to the area. And you can see in this concept over here, you had to go over a series of bridges to get to the top. And think about how annoying that would have been. I thank us for not using that idea. And over here again, you can see Slappy's balloon up there and a nice waterfall. That was kind of the original version that became what you see in the middle, and finally what became in-game.
Oh, and we also had this plan where once you enter ToonFest through the tunnel, the long pathway toward the opening of the area was deliberately made so that it works as a reveal to the area, so that it adds to the excitement once you walk, and the anticipation of walking to your destination. That as well. Oh, it was the same type of technique was also used for Boss Bot HQ. So a lot of our models they have a methodical approach to both psychology and visual aids.
Now, the reason we're showing you all these concepts, these here are some of the ToonFest Tower, the big one in the middle, is because, again, keep in mind that all of these were done over the span of a month. The concepts, the modeling, and the programming for it. And so these are some of the unused concepts for the ToonFest tower and what it could have looked like. We knew it wanted to be kind of like the silly meter where it's all over the place, it's moving around, it's got all sorts of little objects on it. And then even then, after, do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah. We wanted to go with an idea of like, originally like gags stacked up, but we figured that's a little bit too typical of like, we figured that's the first stage of an idea for a tower. So we decided to get a little bit more architectural about it, although keeping the wacky contours and everything and the spirals, so.
And even when we finally decided on the design of the ToonFest tower, we weren't done there. We still had to go through many revisions on how the color should look and all kinds of attention to detail that our glorious artists do here. And just a round of applause for all the work that they've done to get that to the point of all of this is that on every little detail that goes into the game, whether it's something as big as ToonFest or as small as the items that you'll be receiving for coming to OMGCon, there's all sorts of revisions and lots of thought that goes into it on how do we make this the best possible, how do we make this fit within Disney's Toontown Online, and how do we excite our players with it. And moving on to the next slide here are some of the unused things that we had at ToonFest, just for your curiosity. There's a confetti cannon, there's all sorts of cards and decorations and such, which may end up appearing in the future because we're always adding on to ToonFest.
Yeah, we wanted to have like confetti where a hand would you would hit the box with a pie and the hand would pop off with the jar and all of these jelly beans would pop out for people to collect and confetti along with it because why not, you know? So we also had that, and then a few target games that we wanted in the sky. That's mainly why the cannons came into the picture. So there was a lot going on with planning about that.
So although these are unused, you may end up seeing them in the future, and you guys are the first to see them. Now here is some of the concepts. Up there you can see the clothing designs, and one of them you probably recognize because that's the one that went and gave the squirt flower shirt. And so our lovely artist Maya, can you stand up? Right here. Maya, come on, stand up. As I told those of you who were here last night, Maya has flown here all the way from Israel to be with us today. And she's the one who made these concepts, and she's the one who makes pretty much all of the concepts for the shirts. For every single shirt that goes into the game, she normally has a whole sheet like this of references and all sorts of designs and revisions that we tell her like what we think is cool, she puts in what she thinks is cool, and it comes out pretty cool. So one more round of applause for Maya. Come all the way here. Now, the last thing we want to talk about ToonFest in terms of development is how we've been adding on to it every year. Last year, we introduced the token takers and Riggy Marole, who is the first toon with an oddly shaped head. Roxana, do you want to talk about this at all?
Yeah, so about Riggy Marole, we figured he deserves a, unique appearance to his look. So we decided, why not a new head? And we put a little tuft into his hair, and he now is the host for ToonFest in a canon way, like our character. And we also had the token system. This year we plan to spruce it up a bit so that we can use jelly beans, and it allows you to go into the rest of the game so that the ToonFest area isn't taking all that attention from the rest of the game during that time.
Yeah, so far ToonFest has been pretty contained. It's only in the one area, and we want ToonFest to be a celebration across all of Toontown. We don't want to take you away from your cog battles and trolley games and everything else that you want to do instead of being all together in the ToonFest area, which sometimes gets pretty packed. So this year we are going to try and expand ToonFest to various things across the game with Toon Tasks and all sorts of other things that we have in store, as well as maybe some new mini games in the area itself. Mm-hmm. So we're excited for you to see that September 19th this year. I'm going to let my legs rest and let Roxana talk about Toontown Retextured, an exciting subject that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about.
So, Toontown Retextured. Today I'd like to present to you guys, we have a playground that we'd like to show in full depth. We've got a few screenshots, so we can let that play. So each of these have a swipe where you can see the HD or the non-HD, and then the HD version. So we'll also have a monitor at our table so you can see it more close up. But our artists, texture artists, Kyla and Mike had worked very hard toward presenting this playground today. So it's just one of the many playgrounds that we've been working on. And we decided that, hey, let's go with presenting an entire playground this time. And we also,
just to reiterate what Roxana was saying, Toontown Retextured is going to be playable at our table this weekend in the Berg Playground. So you guys will be the first to not only be able to see that playground, but be able to play in it in a higher quality version of what our artists have been working on to bring Toontown up to date with modern day graphics.
And also, the previous slide there, is there a way to pause it? Okay, so there's a lot of work that goes into critiques. We want to make sure that our quality best goes out into the game. And we spend roughly 3 critiques max, and if it doesn't end up, you can just leave it there. So we just want to make sure that we get the best of each texture, and that it matches as closely as possible to the original. And although the playground that we have here isn't final, there is a few more critiques that we'd like to go through with. We decided, why not show what we have? So, there's that for you. And, oh yeah, we'll play that. And here's one of our artists working at creating a texture. It's a very short video, so she collects the texture names that belong in the files of the game. And then she starts out with the original texture, opening them all up, and then she creates shapes around each object that shows up in the texture. And then she fills them up with color and detail and shading, and it becomes a more crisp version of the original. We want to make sure that we get all the blurs out and we have very crisp lines. So this is the best approach that we've found so far. And you can see that she's very much trying to make the original, or the new texture, as close as to the original. And she does a pretty good job of it, I gotta say. She's very skilled with that. And the artist here is Cheesy. Her name is Kyla, and her toon name is Cheesy. Her name is Kyla. And the other artist, his name is Lost Hero, and his name is Mike. So,
Well, now that you've seen a little bit of the process of Toontown Retextured, you've seen some sneak peeks of it and what goes into making a texture, we also have been working on another new project we want to announce this year that we call Toontown Rigged, because I guess we like putting whatever in front of our project names. But Toontown Rigged is for animations. So
yeah, what this project, Ziggy was the main dude who had contributed with this. It was him all the way throughout. So he really put a lot of effort into this one. Ziggy, may you stand up and everyone applause for him? So the purpose of this project was to allow new toon animations to be made. So that's pretty exciting, seeing new animations or anything of that sort. So the process with this is put into 3 simple pictures. We've got on the left over there a skeleton. So just like we have a skeleton and we have joints in our body where you can bend and roll your wrist or anything like that, you've got a skeleton, and that's what we call it in animators' terms. So then in the center there, you have all the controls that helps you control each joint. So without the controls, you have just a model in a T-pose. And basically, you would have to have that model run around like that. We don't want that. We want toon animations. Everybody is animated and, oh, what are you doing? Wait, go back. I have one more picture. Okay. So then the third picture there is just showing the animation and how the rig that helps move the joints and everything. Okay. So the two main goals of it was to yeah, so reverse engineer the animated characters from the game because we needed to match the animations as close as possible without messing up the rest of the game. You know, we need to recycle the rig that was used from Disney, but it wasn't accessible without reverse engineering. So once we got that, we then can make new animations. Okay, next slide. So the first step was taking it from the game and into a working environment we call Maya, Autodesk Maya, and then from Autodesk Maya, we put it back into the game. So creating the Toon puppet, we've got all the joints in there, like I said before, and then you come up with a rig. And that would be the final product so that we can start animating. And next slide. So once we had the animations, once we had the rig, we then started with 2 test animations to make sure that the project worked out. And our first test was by Captain McCrunchy. His name's Jordan, so play that one. And that was a walking animation, so that's a brand new animation that you see right there. And then the second one was a more dynamic animation. And that one there was done by Roger Dog. I know you all remember walking around as that Toon during April Toons Day, so yeah. So these are the 2 animations placed into the game, which is what the purpose of the project was for. And now you see it in a rendered environment, and that just shows the possibilities that we can make with this project. It really is a helpful tool. And here's the second animation in the tutorial area. And here's some bloopers. With rigging, there's always going to be bloopers. So the skeleton allows you to really pull and stretch a lot of things going on, and you witness a lot of that when creating these rigs. And that right there was a pupil, and it grew really large. There's another blooper. They're really entertaining to watch. So yeah, that's all for Toontown Rigged, and just know there's a lot more to come.
Now I have something kind of big to announce for you. Some of you have stopped by our virtual reality station over the weekend, and Aidan and I, Aidan, come on, stand up with me. We have been, mostly Aidan, but I gave him the idea, I guess. We've been working to get Toontown into virtual reality. Our project is still very much in demo stages.
Yeah, so we started a few months ago by basically building, it's in the background there, you can see you might recognize that as Toontorial Tom's shop in the Toontorial area. So all of these pictures are
supposed to help show you something about how virtual reality helps you get a real sense of how the real size of an object is. So it's hard to show in pictures. You really need to try it. So if you're here, please come and try it later. But
Aidan was telling me how
the interesting thing about that desk there is that you don't realize it when you're playing Toontown, but the desk in the tutorial is 2 feet tall, and the ceiling is 12 feet tall. You don't see it when you're playing Toontown, but you put the virtual reality headset on, and things are like down here, and the ceiling is like 50 feet tall.
So here's another thing that in virtual reality, with the HTC Vive, you have controllers that map out your hands. And so we have some Toon gloves here that when you're inside of Toontown in virtual reality, you have your own Toon gloves. You can pick stuff up, you can interact with some of the gags that we're throwing around. And yeah. And so here, Toontown, or VR Town as we've been calling it, it wasn't built in Panda 3D, it wasn't built off of the game that we have right now. We actually decided to use Unreal Engine 4. And so this is a high quality picture of Toontown Central with dynamic lighting and just high quality images and everything. So when you put it on, it feels like you're really standing there in Toontown. Well, this one here is the Toon Hall, which we also decided. We made 2 demos. One is in Toontown Central, the other is in Toon Hall. And the demos basically consist of, you can take out a portable hole, throw it on the ground and teleport somewhere. You can interact with the gags that are around the sides in Toon Hall. And it's pretty simple, but the main thing that we wanted to show you is that virtual reality in Toontown has a lot of potential. It's hard to get it down with the game as you guys know it because you're confined to that space. As if you've seen by our table, you can't walk very far. But we've talked to Jesse Schell, and he also thinks there's a lot of promise for Toontown and virtual reality in the future. It's really the next step for games. And when you think about it, like if a child wants to play virtual reality, one of the first things they're going to want to go to is a cartoon world. And that's what we have here with Toontown, and I think that means there's a lot of promise in the future for it. To the Q&A and Jesse Schell's video, we have a very big announcement here. And Jeremy, go ahead and show the slide. It is the Toontown species election.
So that means that this year in Toontown Rewritten, we are going to be electing a new Toon species to play as. Think about that. That election is going to start probably later this summer, and Toons will be able to nominate a species that they want to pick, and you guys will all be able to vote on it until we get down to 2 main candidates. And finally, once our winner is chosen, a few months later, we will be playing as that new species. It will have a new head, new sound effects, and just something brand new that will be appearing all over Toontown. We're really excited about that.
So we made this possible with rigging a roll. I don't know if you guys made the connection, but...
Yeah, Riggy Marole was basically our test for a new Toon species. He had a new Toon head, but he wasn't quite a new species. But we figured out it was possible, and now we've decided to take it to the next level and let you guys decide how we're going to do it. All right, now it's my pleasure to introduce Jesse Schell, who is the creator of Toontown. Many of you have, not our Toontown, but Disney's Toontown. He's recorded a video for us here while you guys on our blog have submitted questions. He's picked out 10 that he thinks are particularly interesting. And here we go. It's about 15 minutes long.
Hey everybody, Jesse Schell here. Hope you're having a great ToonFest. Let's see, so I promised that I would answer questions if you send them in, and we had a lot of people sending questions, hundreds and hundreds of questions. But we narrowed it down to 10 questions that we're going to try and answer here today. So I am going to jump right in. So, question number 1. This is from Princess Melody. Since its creation 13 years ago, what would you say has surprised you most about Toontown and its impact? I think the thing that surprised me most was the fact that people cared so much about Toontown that even after it was officially shut down by Disney, fans cared enough to actually bring it back to life, run it and operate it, support it, care about it, and keep playing it. The fact that people cared about it that much is just, it's absolutely thrilling, but it really did surprise me. It wasn't something that I thought was going to happen, and it's wonderful to have been involved helping make something where people cared about it that much. Okay, second question from Little Candy McNerd. How did you come up with the cogs' names and features? So this is really interesting. So you probably not heard me talk before about the history of the cogs. Initially, it wasn't just cogs. Initially, there were going to be all kinds of evil adults, evil dentists, and evil gym teachers, and things like that. But we narrowed it down just into kind of evil business people, and then they eventually turned into business robots. And the way we came up with our identities is we went through a brainstorming process where we just sort of thought of funny things that happened in offices, because there's a lot of insults from offices, things like micromanager and headhunter. We just made big lists of all the business words we could think of, and then we started coming up with funny ways that were like, okay, so what would it mean for there to be like a headhunter cog, and what would it mean, for there to be a micromanager cog, and just try to come up with different ideas for it. We probably had twice as many ideas for cogs as we actually used. And a lot of them were just not very good. And people say, well, what were they? I'm like, I don't remember. They just weren't very good. But we narrowed it down to the ones we really liked. But now the question of where did the look of the cogs come from, and who decided what they looked like, that was very much led by animator Bruce Woodside, who had strong visions for ways we could make a very efficient system that would give us a whole lot of cogs by mixing up their heads and hands and sizes and shapes. And he was really great at coming up with the drawings of the cogs. All right, so question 3. This is from Captain Rockin' What was your initial reaction when you saw the rumor of Toontown Rewritten become a reality after Toontown Online had closed? So, wow, that's a great question. When I first heard the rumor that, hey, maybe Toontown Rewritten was really going to be a thing, I thought, okay, yeah, good luck, everybody. That's going to be so hard to do. I mean, I love the idea of it, but first, probably Disney's going to show up with a bunch of lawyers and shut you down. And then secondly, it's just going to be so technically difficult. I don't think it's really going to work, and I wasn't sure the people working on it would be persistent enough to make it work. And boy, was I totally wrong. Disney's been very gracious at kind of giving Toontown Rewritten space to exist, and the team has been incredibly skilled, incredibly persistent at gradually getting more and more Toontown features online. So my initial reaction was, good luck, that's never going to happen, and I am pleased to say that I was really wrong about that. Okay, question number 4. Why did you decide to name your toon JMO? And that's right, so you might have seen, if you've ever seen a red rabbit running around named JMO, that very well could be me. That was the toon that I created while we were still making Toontown. I used it in test, and I used it all the way up till the end of Toontown, and of course, I brought JMO over to Toontown Rewritten as well. So where does that name come from? Back in the 80s, I did a lot of computer hacking, like, finding ways to kind of sneak into this computer and that computer, because I was a dumb kid doing dumb things. And hackers all had nicknames, and my nickname was J Mobius, because I liked Mobius strips, I liked higher mathematics, and so I just picked the name J Mobius, which got shortened to JMO, and JMO is just a name that I've used quite a lot, and so it was the name of my toon. So there you go, it was my old hacker nickname. Okay, question 5 from Pickle Flapper. What was the reasoning behind choosing a turn-based combat system for Toontown? Man, this is a great question. This is something that was a huge debate with us, trying to decide how should we make the combat system work in Toontown. A lot of people wanted a very active system. So the decision happened, it had a few different levels. One was, I was very worried about latency, being able to program a system that could handle fast action. I wasn't sure we could do it. I felt more confident we'd be able to code up a turn-based system that could deal with the slow latency that we had back when Toontown opened. And also, we were looking to make a game that would work for all ages and that would work for boys and work for girls. And we'd observed that sometimes with online games, some people, girls especially, were often put off by high-pressure, real-time arena combat type games. And so contrast that to the kind of battle you have in Pokemon or Final Fantasy, which is very turn-based, where people have time to think. And we liked having a system that kind of gave people time to think while they were fighting. So we liked that this was more open to everybody. People who were into battle could get into it, but people who were a little intimidated by battle could kind of take their time. So we liked that a lot. We also liked the fact that it left space for people to talk while they were while they were in battle. So it made it more social. So there were a lot of reasons that we did it. It proved to be way more difficult than we thought. We thought it was going to be easier than an action system, and it turns out it may have actually been harder. And it's interesting, you listen to the Wizard 101 guys talk about it, and they talk about the reason they chose a turn-based combat system was they saw how well it worked in Toontown, and so they followed that lead. Okay, question number 6 from Little Tom Jabbermonkey. What's the silliest conversation you had with someone while developing Toontown Online? Okay, so I think I know that one of the conversation that seemed kind of silly to me. So once we'd opened it for kind of beta testing and we let people in, one thing that we as developers had was the power to listen in on all conversations, even private conversations that worked through the secret friend system. And so I had that debug bit turned on so I could hear private conversations. And I had joined these two Toons who were friends. I joined them for a battle, in a building. And I thought I was doing pretty well. I thought I was being really helpful. And I was pretty psyched about this battle we were doing. And I was just not really thinking about just going through the battle. And then these two guys started to have their conversation about, because it's just a free text type, they could type anything. Man, this guy stinks. And the other guy says, yeah, I know, I don't think he knows anything about this game. Which I thought was, I'm like, hey, I made this combat system. But, people have their opinions. Anyway, that was kind of funny. Let's see, number 7, good old Corky Weasel Snooker. What happened to Toontown 2.0? How far did these ideas get before being ultimately canceled? Now, I did not work on Toontown 2.0, but I've talked to people who have. And I'll tell you my understanding of what happened to Toontown 2.0. Toontown 2.0 was initially an exploration into what would it look like if Toontown was brought into Unity. Because the thought was we could port Toontown over to Unity. This was back when Unity was well supported in browsers, and it no longer is. But if we could bring Toontown into Unity, then it could both go into mobile and it could also be in browsers. And that could be a really good idea. So my understanding is Toontown 2.0 didn't go very far. I don't even think it was networked, actually, or if it was very simple. It was really about a character running around in a Unity model to sort of see what this would look like. It was very simple, more of a bare bones technical proof of concept than anything like an actual implementation. And so my understanding is while there was big talk about it and a prototype that looked kind of cool, it was far away from a functioning prototype. There would a lot of work would have to be done to carry it the rest of the way, unfortunately. Okay, number 8 from Crazy Leroy. Without going too far into details, don't worry. What are some of the things you would want to do if you had the power to bring Toontown back, whether in its original form or as a sequel? Oh man, well, if I could do anything, boy, there's a lot of stuff that I'd want to do. First of all, in this modern world, I would love to take Toontown into the mobile realm so that people could play it on their phones, they could play it on iPads, they could play it on tablets, as well as being able to play it on PC and Mac. And of course, it'd be nice to bring it over to console too. It'd be nice to bring it everywhere. Secondly, I think really important, any new version of Toontown would need to support the old tunes. The Toon database is still there. Disney has it all kind of locked up in the vault. And it would be great to be able to get a new version of Toontown going and for people to bring back their old tunes and have them be part of the new game. And I think the most important thing for any version of Toontown going forward would be giving as much power as possible to the players to be able to decide what features go in, what content comes out, and even to the extent, what can we do to allow players to create content and put that in the game. Those would be the things I would really want to see. I don't know exactly how it would all work, but I feel like all those things are what the future of Toontown will really want to have ideally. Okay, question number 9. Do you still talk to Disney about making a new Toontown? And the answer is yes, I do. Now you gotta understand, like making like Toontown as an ongoing business with professionals working on it on a daily basis and having it be a profitable enterprise, it's a tricky business. At the time that Disney shut it down, like there's still a lot of people playing. We know this, but the thing is, running one of these games for real, it costs some money, particularly if you're continuing to add features, continuing to keep the hackers happy. There's a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, subscription-based games have fallen out of fashion in favor of free-to-play games. And Toontown's not well set up to be a free-to-play game. So we're all trying to figure out what is the right business model. Personally, I feel like subscription is the right way to do Toontown. That's the best way to serve a community where you have you have a smaller number of people, like not millions of people like World of Warcraft has. Toontown has a smaller number of people who really care about it. I think enough of them are going to be willing to pay subscriptions. I think it's possible to bring it back and do it that way. Anyway, I know that Disney wants to see it come back someday. That's partly why I suspect they haven't given Toontown Rewritten such a hard time. They want to see it come back. I want to see it come back. Lots of people want to see it come back. Conversations are still going. As soon as we can get to the point that we figure out something that makes sense, where all the financials line up, maybe it can happen. I mean, so. Thanks, computer. Okay, I don't know. Maybe Joey will edit that out. Maybe he'll leave it in. I don't know what that was. Anyway, long story short, yes, conversations are still going on. We're all trying to figure it out. Lots of people want to make it happen one day, but will we be able to make it happen? When there's something to tell, we'll tell you all about it. Okay, and then final question. Question number 10. Mr. Greenbean asks, what makes you still stay connected to the Toontown community even though the game shut down? Most game developers would just give up on a game after it closed down. Okay, why do I still stay in touch with the Toontown community? And the answer is very simple. You guys are awesome. Toontown is something that means an awful lot to me. It meant a lot to me while we were making it, and when we were making it, the vision wasn't, oh, we'll have a game and maybe it'll run 5 or 10 years and wouldn't that be great? No, the vision is we're going to make this place and it's going to run forever. We want it to run for hundreds of years. We really felt like there was something powerful enough here that it could have a long, long life. And I feel like the fact that you guys still care and are still playing the game and are still involved with it, even though Disney kind of made a decision to shut it down, that just tells me that, yeah, there is something powerful there. And so why do I stay in touch with you guys? Why do I talk to you guys? Because you care about this. Because Toontown isn't just a game. I think Toontown is something important. Toontown is a place where people can come together and have fun and celebrate play being more important than work, and come together and collaborate and just celebrate what it is to kind of be a cartoon character and have fun. Anyway, well, I hope you like these the answers to these questions. Stay in touch and have a great time at ToonFest.
Let's hear it one more time for Jesse Schell. Jesse Shell, of course, always wants to join us at ToonFest, but OMG Con does sadly fall on the date of his birthday. His birthday is June 13th, coming up this Monday, so wish him a happy birthday. He always answers his emails for the most part, so. And now we're going to move on to our Q&A session. So anyone who wants to ask us a question can come right over here up to this microphone, and we'll do our best to answer all of them. I don't know if we'll be able to get to everyone, but I think we may. Yeah, at our second panel, we'll also bring up anyone who didn't get a chance to ask during this one. And one question, please, just so we can try and get to everyone. All right. Someone's coming up to turn it on for you.
For now.
Okay, so as developers and Toontown fans, what were your initial thoughts on Toontown 2.0?
It was really amazing to see Toontown 2.0. That was actually, the concepts for it and stuff were released before Toontown Rewritten, but a lot of it has inspired us to put content into the game. And we really hope that's our dream for what we want Toontown to be. We want it to be updated graphics, updated lighting, and more content and everything. So that's what the dream is, that Toontown will one day be like that vision that they had for it.
I still kind of remember, at least until I learned more about it in later months, but like I always thought like, oh, it's a cool rumor, but whatever, there's not much to it. But as I've learned now, it's actually kind of, it was an actual Disney venture, you know. It had some cool ideas, but I think there's some stuff we can learn from their attempts there. So.
It also helped us establish or elaborate on the understanding we have for the art direction of the game.
All right. As far as any brand new content, things that Disney's never thought of, are you guys planning on putting any of your own ideas into the game?
Yeah, we are. We have. You should see our internal discussion center, because there are pages and pages and pages of ideas that we are waiting to work on.
We also have a lot of projects lined up. We have at least 4 to 5 projects at a time. One where it's exposed to the public, and the others where we want to keep it a surprise.
The thing we've learned from the early days is that we, as volunteers working on this, can't tell you about all these things until basically they're like 80% done. Because we've been burned before, and we don't want to do it again to either us or you guys. So.
It's tough because with school and everything, we have to manage our time, and we can't always meet the deadlines that we hope for. But we are working on lots of new content that over the years will be released.
All right, thank you.
And just, if you guys want to say your Toon names as you ask questions, feel free.
There you go. Do the form.
What will the chairman look like?
What will the chairman look like? Well, he was seen in Toontown's original intro video with Scrooge McDuck and Gyro Gearloose. So you've seen him there. I don't know if he still looks the same or not, but maybe one day we'll see him in Toontown Rewritten.
On the whole map, what's under the cloud?
Under the cloud. Well, I'll tell you what I've been telling everyone who's asked me that, which has been probably like half the people in this room. But under the cloud is a new Toon area. It's not a cog area. It's an area being built by the Toon Council. I can't tell you much more than that, but it's not Cog Nation, but it is something probably just as exciting.
It's for you guys to figure out.
Have you ever gotten kind of bored with Toontown and just wanted to stop making the game entirely?
So you guys, have you ever gotten over Toontown and just kind of stopped, right?
Well, have you ever felt like you might want to stop?
Oh, like for our lives?
Yeah. No.
So a lot of us, to be honest, have gone in and out of activity. We've all had months where we just kind of were like fed up with working on this game for free.
Also, life gets in the way.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Really
like
bad.
School, graduation, testing. And so we've, at least to TTR, our commitments go in and out, but I think a lot of us overall, Toontown will always be a part of our lives and our childhoods, and of course, even now, our professional careers, so.
The morals that are put, like, woven into the game are something that we can all really relate to. So just like, keeping your kid at heart, that's a huge thing that we go by. we always try to be goofy and having fun. So that's a huge thing for us.
So even though we've had staff members come and go over the years, us four here are from when Toontown Rewritten first started, and Roxana and Jacob have also been with us for a very long time. And we go in and out of activity. There's times when school gets in the way and life gets in the way, but there's always someone working on Toontown, because that's one of the benefits of a volunteer project. We don't have to worry about, paying too much for our team, so it can get as large as we need it to. There's always someone working on it.
Thank you. For the manholes in the cog HQs, are they just decorations, or are they going to have any features?
Well, the manholes in the cog HQ, it's something that Disney put there, which is, so it's tough for us to say because we don't know what Disney intended for them, but I'm sure that we have some ideas of what they could be in the future. So it's hard to say what their original intent was, but maybe one day they will have some kind of purpose.
I'll write that down for you. Gotcha.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I was wondering if you would consider implementing golf boarding groups.
Okay, so golf boarding groups. That would be a good thing for a lot of the activities in Toontown. Right now, the boarding groups are limited to the cog HQs and everything.
It should be that hard, because remember, like, golf carts are literally a hacked up elevator, just as the picnic tables are a hacked up trolley, you know?
Yeah, so it's something that would definitely be very useful to you guys, I'm sure. And I think we've probably even talked about it before. So it's something that we'll definitely look into. It's a cool idea.
And Aaron, I didn't forget your offline, like, login and your friends don't know your online thing. But I just
appreciate that. Thank you.
Got you.
On the back of the Flippy trading card, there was something about Fluffy, the doodle, and it said that he was greeting new tunes and finding neighborhoods. What would those neighborhoods possibly be?
Yeah, well, Flippy is, as president of the Toon Council, one of his duties is to open up new neighborhoods. And so, like I said, the Toon Council is the one working on what's under the cloud. And I guess you guys can kind of make a connection there and see.
We appreciate your attention to detail on those cards. We worked really hard on those.
All of the secrets that are in the game, we often do drop hints for here and there, whether in the blog posts or the trading cards everywhere. So if you're really Toon enough, look real close and you may find some secrets.
Alright, I was wondering, because a friend of mine asked me this, why were parties in alpha but they were removed in the beta?
I can answer that. That was the first thing I ever wrote in the technological environment of the back end, and it was really bad.
I see.
And also had the scheduling capabilities were very crappy, and overall it just wasn't ready for prime time. It also caused crashes and resets, and so we just haven't gotten back around to fixing it yet because we focused on core mechanics.
Render appreciates the answer.
What would be a method of changing the language of your gameplay from one language to another?
The benefit of changing from one language to another, that was Toontown Translated that we talked about last year.
The mechanics.
The mechanics of it, it's mainly just for, so people can interact with each other, one be in English and one be in Polish or French or any other language, and if you use the speed chat menu, then you'll see it as it is in your language.
So from your end, you'll speak using the speed chat in Spanish, but the person on the other side will see it in French.
And any of you who haven't heard about that project, we do have a blog post about it. If you want to search Toon Translated or something like that. Translating the Toonverse, that's what we call it. That one's the one that doesn't have a re in the project title.
Are you familiar with the preferences mode of Wikimedia?
Are you asking how you would actually change it?
Yeah.
We would be in the launcher, so there'd be an option and you would select it before the game starts.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are true friends coming back to Toontown?
True friends. We've talked about it. One of the things is, us as a volunteer team, we want to make sure that Toontown's the safest it can be. And it's True Friends allowed open chat, and we want to make sure that people aren't saying things that they shouldn't say. And so we've talked about bringing it back. There's a lot of discussion about it. We do at least want to bring back the feature of being able to add a friend remotely. Like if you know someone in real life, you type in the code and automatically become friends with them. As well as the group whispering. That was one of the features in Toontown Online where you could whisper to all of your true friends at once. So they are going to be coming back in some form. We're just talking about how to do it because we're not sure if we want to allow open chat in our game.
You'll probably still be using the same chat as speed chat was, but it might change.
Thanks.
Hi, my Toon name is Tomorrow. I was wondering if there are any events lined up similar to Doomsday. That way, people who didn't play Alpha will have a chance to experience something as interactive as it.
Do you mean like the Doomsday gameplay, or like?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the cogs running around the playground.
Yeah, being able to attack the cogs by running up to them.
I'll give you two answers. One's the technical answer, one's the storyline answer.
Can I do the technical answer?
Yeah.
So technically, we had never re-implemented it, of course. The code's still there. That's one point. But the other point is it was really taxing on the servers. Now this was okay because the way we ran it is that was the only thing going on. There were no VPs, there were no CJs, there was nothing else that the servers had to work on. It was just that. And so the way it's currently set up, it'd be very hard to redo that without totally lagging the district, like even more than everything else that already lags the district. So that's one answer.
During Alpha, there were only a few hundred people online, and so the servers could handle it. Now we have a few thousand people online. But you probably will see gameplay similar to that in the future, like the fast action and some sort of boss battle or something. But now the storyline reason of why we wouldn't do it in the playground again is we say that during Alpha, the Toons drove the cogs out of the playground all the way to the streets, and they're basically too scared to return.
Thanks.
Is we have a Resistance Ranger?
Yes. She's wearing a Resistance Ranger outfit for those that can't see. You'll have to check out it later.
Do we know who actually originally did the voices of the Toons?
I'm not sure who.
Up here.
I can't give you the name, but she does have an IMDb. We found it just on the off chance. It was posted on the Reddit too. Practically every single Toon, except a few. I think Jesse and his crowd did that. But they did hire a professional voice actor for that. I honestly don't know the name off the top of my head.
And I can say for our new Toon species, it's very likely that this guy here will be the one voicing it. So.
Feather Alley. I was wondering if there's going to be any new flowers, like a 9-bean flower, 10-bean flower.
New flower mechanics, or new flowers added onto the ones that already exist.
Yes, because I have the house and there's.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of different things we want to do with gardening because right now it's kind of tedious to water and plant and all of that. And
only watering.
What?
Once you max it out, it's only watering.
Yeah, so it is a good idea to add new flowers into it because we can keep going on forever even.
But the one thing we do try and avoid, so a lot of Disney mechanics were designed the way they were to keep you playing. Why does it take so long to max your suit? It's because you have to stay subscribed that entire time. So we want to add on mechanics but without making them too grimy. So
no new flowers, huh?
Possibly new flowers.
Can you give us any new hints on the Executive Office Tower?
The Executive Office Tower is a building that no Toon has ever stepped into before. All 4 cog bosses meet in that building. And so you'll have to, one day maybe the Toon Resistance will be able to break in and figure out what's going on inside.
Thank you.
How often do you guys play when you're just playing casually?
How often do we what?
How often do we play when we're just playing casually and playing our own game?
So I gotta tell you guys a secret. The Sir Max has never gone past Toontown Central.
Any Sir Max?
No, well, not any Sir Max,
okay.
But my rewritten Sir Max, the one who's kind of anonymous, that his name isn't Sir Max, but it's me. I haven't been able to get past Toontown Central because I'm always working on stuff for the game, so I would like to play a lot more of it. I play, of course, the new content that we're working on to test it, and when we're developing the bosses and all of that, I'm able to jump up there. But I guess, legitimately, it's been hard for me to get past Toontown Central because of time spent working on it.
Here, we can do this round table briefly.
Yeah.
My Toon that, I guess, some people might know, it's at 93 Laugh, Black Hat. I had a stint senior year of high school, so it'd be last year, where I actually kind of played for real and got them up. But now that I'm in college and working, I don't play as often.
I'm somewhere in either Minnie's Melodyland or Daisy Gardens. I was playing a bit last summer, and then just technical issues came up again, and all my Toontown Rewritten time goes into the terminal, not the game, so.
That's what happens.
I'm somewhere in the middle of the burr. I don't remember exactly where. I'm about 60 laugh, probably.
I got, there was like, I had a little splurge because I realized I wasn't playing at all. And for like 3 weeks, I like went all the way to Cash Ball HQ. But ever since then, that was like a year ago. I like come up every now and then, but it's not common.
Going back to the animal sounds, I did look it up. A woman named Lanny Manila, she did the monkey, she did the pig, and she voiced the goat. So her sound files are in there somewhere. I think it could be secretly heard somewhere in Gulf in the celebration, but those were the main three. The rest were just Jesse Shell and all of his guys just making sounds at the top of their heads.
Oh, thank you, by the way.
So whether it's before or after you add a new area to the game, do you guys have any plans for changing the map of Toontown or expanding it?
The map of Toontown, I think is going to stay pretty much the way it is. We've added the new cloud, but I don't think we want to rearrange it at all.
We do have like a version that's corrected, so you know how the map is like incorrect, like one tunnel leads to Donald's Dock or something, and then
that's fine.
And it's not on the right side of the playground. So we have plans to like correct it.
Okay, thank you.
When will the next Toontown tweaks come out, and will Toontown Retextured be part of it?
Toontown Retextured will not be part of it, but Toontown Tweaks we have a very big update that's probably our next update that may be going out as soon as this weekend. So you'll be seeing that pretty much as soon as you get home.
Oh, and with Retextured, there's no definitive date, but we are planning to be more, giving it more exposure rather than keeping it behind the scenes.
And why are all the districts inspired by art?
That was just kind of, how did that start? I think it started with colorful canvas. So,
yeah, so during Alpha, I just needed to come up with 2 names for districts, and I figured I'd be a little bit creative with them, so I created Colorful Canvas and I think Inkwell Oasis, which was not alliterative at all. But I think people stuck with that naming convention and continued to name them artistically.
Yeah, my favorites are Renaissance River and Hawkheart Gardens. But after that, as I added more servers, I just kept with the pattern.
Yeah, we had like some artists give some suggestions in a little document we had, and we're like, hey, they can put some of these in there.
There's a player who sent a big list of them that it's still in my little file of like district names if I need more,
So some of the things that you guys send in do, and like we use them all the time. We like your suggestions even for things as small as district names. But it's really just playing off of the name Rewritten.
This is my last question. Will the end of beta event be located in the executive office tower or somewhere else?
I cannot answer that.
Can neither confirm nor deny anything.
Yeah. You'll see.
Thank you.
How do the VP and CFO and all of those, like, when they go away, how do they come back, like, every time?
Well, it's cogs that are always promoted. Like, if you've seen at the end of the CEO, when he explodes, he turns into a flunky because he's been demoted all the way to a flunky. So cogs work their way up the corporate ladder until eventually getting to the spot where if the VP is knocked off the ledge by a toon or something like that, then
that makes sense because cogs are reproduced.
Yeah, so they go into the factory, they get a major upgrade of their suit, and they become the next VP, CFO, or CJ, CEO of Cogs Incorporated.
The cog himself is promoted, really.
Yeah, they just promoted up to there.
Thank you.
I like that question.
What are your favorite trolley games? Or are there any that totally just annoy you?
Well, think I can speak for all of us up here that the Toon memory game is often an annoyance.
No, it's my favorite. What are you talking about? I love sitting around and not being able to skip it.
Who's saying that?
Ignore.
Oh, photo fun. That's well. With photo fun, you can at least just spam the thing.
I personally like photo fun. Aidan and I like photo fun.
I personally like Toon Escape because after seeing the work that Cheesy, our texture artist, had put into the background, like in HD, it's like I love playing that game in HD.
Match Mini. I just literally just race with everyone, just trying to type in all the arrows.
The maze game has a special place in my heart because I always like to see just if I can get them all. Because I'm like, it has to be possible. Come on, come on. There's a little bar, and it gets like 80% of the way there in a matter of time. I'm like, I gotta fill it up with something. So.
I'm a fan of Cog Thief as well because it was an early prototype of Doomsday, basically, like how the gameplay would work.
I was pretty partial to the race game.
First minigame, right?
No, that would be the maze game, which I actually did get pretty good at as a result of having to test it over and over again.
Oh, sorry, I meant made by Toontown Online.
Okay, so my friend wanted me to ask you guys this. She wanted new accessories, and one of them was wigs. I thought it was stupid, but she wanted me to ask you guys.
Well, Toontown Online had wigs. And
like the beehive wig,
Yeah,
the
but
Elvis
she wanted
wig.
like long hair and
Yeah.
anime stuff like that. I thought it was dumb, but
Well, I think that we've kind of, as a design choice, avoided putting hair on Toons. But if your friend wants to submit like what they want it to look like a sketch or something, then I mean we'll certainly take a look at it and see what we can do.
Sam made a good point that the way accessories, at least like head ones, are done, it's parented to the head, so it'd be wobbling around and it'd be like a weird little. It'd look kind of weird.
Parenting is a term where it like locks to a location, so like it attaches.
The hat is attached to the head and it moves with the head.
Yeah.
So as a result, you have a big weird little stick coming out of the back of your head, like if you had long.
Yeah, you might have like clipping going through the back. You know, like that's where Toontown Rigged comes in. We can animate stuff, more new accessories, such like that.
thank you.
I'm Princess Uligadja. I have a few questions, if that's okay. Will there ever be like a viewer thing, like if people go into the VP and you don't want to fight the VP yet, but you just want to watch them fight the VP, will you be able to like just view them fighting the VP?
So like a spectator mode for the
Yeah,
VP.
exactly.
I'll write that one down.
Yeah, I mean we'll write it down and see.
It kind of happens with moderation occasionally, but so it's not impossible, but it would take some more.
Maybe some Toons could go up to like a higher level and watch from a window or something.
Yeah. So this is to like introduce new Toons to what they could be doing, or is it in a more personal sense that you would want to watch your friend?
Both. New Toons could learn like how to fight the boss before they actually go and fight it, and also if there's like a twisted event going on, people could watch it without having to participate.
Okay, we might take a spin on that. We'll discuss it.
Second question, her question reminded me of why are some of the old Toontown Online accessories not in Toontown Rewritten, such as the masks or the wings?
Ben Joey.
Yeah, it was my decision to take a lot of those out. Mainly because, like the wigs that we talked about, a lot of them clip with the Toons, and they don't really fit in with the design of Toontown. But we aren't going to remove them forever. We do want to redo them so they're better than before and don't clip anymore and cause kind of style issues and all of that. So you'll probably slowly start to see those old accessories returning in a new form.
You can probably take one more question from me, by the way.
Yeah, last question. Shout out to Dan. Lure, lore, or lure?
Oh, okay. So I say lure.
I say lure.
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 Wow, so two lures. GIF or GIF? GIF.
Thank you.
I say lure.
I say lure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will level 12 cogs always be the highest?
Probably not, honestly. I think that somewhere out in Cog Nation, wherever it may be, I think that the cogs have a lot of higher level cogs than level 12.
I mean, if a Toon can go higher.
Yeah, if a Toon can get more laugh points, then I think a cog can get more levels.
What are your thoughts if a Toon is fully maxed, if they can get the last gag track?
I think as a balancing decision, it's probably not something we want to do, because the point of not having that last gag track is to encourage teamwork. Like Toontown's a game all about teamwork, and if you have all 7 gag tracks, then you can just go off on your own, which I don't think is very much fun.
Thank you.
And with Rewritten, a lot of people are their own teamwork by just running like 2 clients.
And we're gonna cut the questions off right here, so.
These last 3.
Yeah. So if we'll answer these 3 here, and if anyone else wants to come up during our second panel, we'll have questions then too.
What were one of the first things you did once you realized that Toontown Online was closing?
The first thing I did, this is what we're going to talk about in our next panel.
Yeah, we'll tell the story.
The first thing I did was call Jeremy and ask what we were going to do.
And I was just very like, what? I remember just going on my phone, I'm like, what? Because it had been around so long and I grew up with it, and yeah.
I'm sure like devastation was a factor for all of us. We were like, no.
So briefly, what about you, Sam? What did you think?
I didn't find out until I knew that Toontown Rewritten was being created. So I had no reaction.
Thank you.
I have another question, just one more.
It was brief.
What were one of the first things you completed on Toontown Rewritten?
Development-wise,
yes.
like the first thing we programmed was, I think the Maze game was the first one.
Maze game was the first one for the mainline code base.
Yeah.
There's arguably the tech demo. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Joseph the Toon, and I want to know what happened to Team Let's Hunt Around and Find Boss Bot HQ, because...
The Toon Resistance lost track of them. They were captured somewhere, we assume, in Boss Bot headquarters, and we're not really sure where they're being held.
In Mingler Mail, I read that there was a banquet which was to be held a week prior to some event, and honestly, unless a week is 2 years, I don't think that's probably going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, as you saw in Mingler Mail, one of the secrets that we let out is that there is a banquet being held in Boss Bot headquarters, and so they could be there. We don't know.
Thank you.
All right, what's up, guys? Thank you for being here. And my question is, have you guys ever considered adding like variety to boss battles, such as like difficulty, higher risk, high reward, stuff like that?
Yes. I'm smiling a lot right now because the answer is yes. And one day you'll be able to see those different difficulties and everything.
All right, thank you.
And can I have the Toontown Written team stand up? Everyone with the blue shirt up front here. Let's hear a round of applause for the rest of our team.
It's kind of crazy to think that a little thing we started and we were just like, I don't know, maybe we can pull it off. That 3 years ago has turned into all of this. So thank you guys. It's not possible without you either.
So we're going to be hanging out by our table until 2:30 when our next panel starts, which will be in this room. So we'll see you out there. You can try out the virtual reality stuff. You can chat with us, ask any other questions, and we'll see you back here at 2:30.
One more round of applause for everyone who came here.